we have to be accurate Raj Yogis. And you see, there's a reason why Raj Yoga is called Raj Yoga, because the most integral part of Raj Yoga is yoga. Yes, it's not. So Baba says knowledge is the source of income, and the income is attained by yoga. So let's say somebody goes to school, gets university education also, but doesn't put it to use. Then what use is that knowledge? Because knowledge is always held as the source of income. But only when knowledge is applied can you receive an income. And Baba says we study every day. We study to understand what it is to be a soul. We study to understand who is Baba, what is Baba like. We study to understand how do I connect my Buddhi Yoga with Baba. But the most important aspect is, do I remember Baba the way I am taught to? Because the aim is to be pure. We always call out to the purifier. We say, Baba, you are the purifier, come. And Baba teaches us Raj Yoga, because Raj Yoga is the method to become pure. And Baba today says, we have to check how much do I consider myself to be a soul and remember Baba. Because many a times you see, when children belong to Baba, they would say, I am always in remembrance of Baba. Yes, I remember Baba anyway. But Baba says that's just cheating yourself. Because remembrance is a very, it's a very measured act. It's not like you say, I am always in remembrance anyway. So remembrance has to be accurate. And Baba says, do you consider yourself to be bodiless? Do you consider yourself to be a soul and remember Baba? And Baba says, when you do this, you will be so consumed in this remembrance that you will forget your body and the whole world around you. And the experience of being in Baba's remembrance is very sweet. And in that sweetness, in that sweet experience of being with Baba, everything that's not sweet will be forgotten. So you see, this body or this physical world or the bodily religions and relationships, they are not sweet today. So Baba's remembrance will make you forget all of that. So do I remember Baba in such a way? And I was just thinking today, you see, that if we check Baba in the Murli today also says that in the morning in Amrit Vela, yes, you sometimes sit in remembrance, and for half an hour maybe you are in good remembrance and you remember me with love and you draw my love into you also. But what about the rest of the day? So in the morning, you see, sometimes you consider yourself to be a soul. That also you have to check. Not everybody is getting up, not everybody is doing it well. But Baba says, some children, at least in the morning at Amrit Vela, they are getting up and thinking about themselves as a soul and remembering me. But what about the rest of the day? Now you see, I was just thinking today that during the whole day, how many times do we really unplug our awareness from everything around and come to that state of soul consciousness? Because you see, the soul is in the body, but it is completely separate. And do I take out time during the day to unplug my attention from everything else and just know that I am a soul and think about the soul, that I am a soul and I began from the soul world and I've had a whole journey of 84 births, and this is just a temporary costume, 84th birth costume. And now I am here to go back to the soul world and to my new world. So, do I sit in this soul consciousness? Do I sit in this state where I unplug my attention from the body, bodily relations, and the physical world? How many times in the day do you really do that? Consider yourself to be a soul, because you see, most of the times we are fooling ourselves by thinking that I am in Baba's remembrance. Whereas when you check, you will figure out that during the day, in the morning, maybe in Amrit Vela we are doing that, but during the day, mostly it is just, awareness of the physical world and also saying Baba, Baba along with that, or just thinking that, Baba is there with me. But it is not like you are separating yourself from the body, considering yourself to be a soul, and then remembering Baba. And Baba says that when you don't consider yourself to be a soul, when your awareness is scattered in the body and in the physical world, then there is no connection, and you cannot feel, you cannot experience, you cannot fulfill yourself with the gifts that Baba is giving. And you see, Baba is the ocean of peace, ocean of knowledge, ocean of love, ocean of purity. So when I am in the remembrance of Baba, what will be my state like? Just think about it. It'll be the master ocean of peace, master ocean of knowledge. And I have experienced that even 1 second, 10 seconds of accurate remembrance of Baba can shift your state of mind and intellect, drastically. You start, your intellect starts functioning at a different plane. You start focusing on different things. Your discernment and decision making changes. And when you are in the influence of the old world, your intellect is functioning very differently. Your mind is in a very different state in body consciousness, and as soon as you become soul conscious and remember Baba, your mind is like the mind of Baba. Very peaceful, very silent, very pure, very full of love. So that is the kind of state you would be in. So Baba says, and in that state, you will not be pulled towards anything. And I remember, there was this one thing which happened some days back. And when that happened, my mind was thinking about that matter. And then I suddenly decided that I just take a break and sit in soul consciousness and remember Baba. And when I remembered Baba, and when I was absorbed in Baba's love and peace and purity, at that time and after that also for several hours, I felt like, I cannot think about that trivial matter, because I was vibrating at a different plane. And in that stage, you don't nothing of the old world, neither the distraction, neither the attractions nor the repulsions. So, things that attract you in body consciousness, things that repulse you in body consciousness. Sometimes you think about things that are very attractive to you. Sometimes you think about things that you don't like. All of those things will stop pulling you when you have good Buddhi Yoga with Baba. And Baba says, in that state, you are absorbed in Baba's world. And Baba's world is a very sublime world where there is just peace, purity, love, joy, power. So Baba says, do you in the whole day do this? Because this is the only method to purify yourself. And until and unless you consider yourself to be a soul and remember Baba, you will not be able to purify yourself. And Baba says that purity is most important. Without purity, you cannot go back to the soul world because that's a pure world. You cannot go back to the new world because that's also a pure world. And Baba underlines the importance of maintaining a chart. Yes, now the thing is, some days back there was this young Baba's Kanya, and she had come to the center and she was telling me that, Didi, recently I started maintaining a chart of what I eat. And she said that I started maintaining a chart of how many grams of what I ate today. And then she said, I was never aware that I am eating 2800 calories a day. And she said, I always thought I'm eating very little. But when I started counting and when I started having a measurement of it, then I became aware that I'm eating too much. And then I started maintaining a chart of it and then correcting myself. So you see, sometimes when you just like that, when you think about whether you are doing things correctly, it is very difficult to find an accurate answer. Because just like I mentioned about that girl, she told me that I maintained a chart of the diet and now I understand that I was eating so much and I was not even aware. And similarly, you see, generally saying that yes, I love Baba, I remember Baba, and accurately measuring in the last 1 hour, how much time did I really spend in soul consciousness and accurate remembrance of Baba? This is a different scenario altogether. Just saying that yes, I remember Baba and maintaining a proper, honest chart of whether you are really soul conscious and remembering Baba. These are two very different things. So Baba emphasizes the importance of having a diary and pen, and these days you have a phone and on it you can always note. So every 1 hour, take a break and check, how much did you remember Baba? And I remember there's this one Kanya, she studies. So she's preparing for her civils exams. And then she told me that recently, Didi, I have started keeping a stopwatch. And then she said that, whenever I am going to the washroom or having food or I am using the phone or I'm distracted, at that time I stop the stopwatch and I again restart it only when I am I'm studying. So that way, when I calculated, she told me I was under the impression that I am studying 12 hours, but I am only studying 7.5. She told me, and just imagine the difference between 12 hours and 7.5. It's so huge. And She said, I always thought that I'm studying for 12 hours because I never calculated these breaks and the distractions and when I'm using the phone and other stuff. And then she said, now I'm trying to increase that 7.5 to 12. So, why I'm giving you these examples is saying that I remember Baba and accurately measuring how much you are really remembering Baba. Not like, remembrance like you're body conscious and you think that I'm remembering Baba, because there is also Baba, Baba, the chant of Baba, Baba going inside you. No, the remembrance that Baba talks about, where you are completely soul conscious and absorbed in the remembrance of Baba, that is the remembrance that purifies you. That is the remembrance that changes your sanskars. So Baba says you have to maintain a chart of this remembrance every hour. And in the end of the day, you must, submit that chart. And Baba says, those who want to make progress, this is the only way to make progress. And if you're just taking it casually that yes, I'm remembering Baba and yes, I was in remembrance. So Baba says that is like just cheating yourself, fooling yourself. And who are you deceiving at the end of the day? Yes, so who are you deceiving or who are you lying to? Because sometimes you see, not maintaining a chart, not checking is a big form of self deception, because you want to live under the illusion that yes, I'm doing well and I'm remembering Baba. And this is also what Maya does to you. So Baba says you must maintain a chart of how much accurate remembrance you had during the day. And there is a law that says you cannot change without checking. Yes. And I will tell you, if you don't check and somebody else points out, then you will feel offended. You will not take it as an instrument for growth. You will start hurling insults at that person, or just being body conscious and egoistic and reacting badly. So it is very important that you check for yourself, because until and unless you check for yourself honestly, change won't happen. And Baba underlines honest checking. And you see, honesty stems from wisdom. Yes, let me tell you one thing. If you don't know the traffic rules and you break them, and somebody tells you, did you break the traffic rules? Then what will you say? No. You will say, no, I didn't break it. Why? Because you don't know the traffic rules. And if you don't know the rules, then how can you be honest about whether you broke them or didn't break them? Similarly, when you don't know properly, what really counts as Baba's remembrance, then because of lack of understanding, because of lack of proper knowledge also, you may be living in the bubble or the illusion that I am remembering Baba. So Baba says you must understand accurately what remembrance is like, and then honestly check with full knowledge. Honesty is connected to intention, but honesty is also connected to awareness. If you're unaware, you can't be honest. And I will tell you one incident from Sakar Baba's time. So you see, there was this young Kanya with Baba, and very little Kanya, and what she would do is she would wear everybody's frock and dress and move around. And then everybody would say that she is stealing, she is taking my dress and wearing and not seeking permission. So then Mama once called that Kanya, and Mama asked, whose frock is this that you're wearing? So she said, this belongs to that sister. So she said, so Mama asked her, did you ask that sister before taking the frock? So she said, no. So Mama told her that if you don't ask her and take it, then it is called stealing. So did you steal? So she said, I didn't know. So you see that she is not counting it as stealing because she doesn't know that that is counted as stealing. So then Mama made her aware that if you have to use something from somebody, you have to ask them. If you don't ask them, it amounts to stealing. So then that girl was aware and she knew that she doesn't have to steal. So similarly, you see many times when children don't understand, or maybe even if you've heard it 100 times in the Murli, if you don't pay attention to it, you don't understand what really counts as remembrance. And then what you're doing is you are just casually saying that I remember Baba, and then you see many years later also children will complain that Baba says that your Vikarma will finish, and you will burn your sins and there'll be change in your sanskars, but it's not happening. I am remembering Baba all the time, but that's not happening. But if you look at it, you are not remembering Baba accurately. And I will tell you one thing. There was this one Mata, she's in Gyan for 20 years. And she visited the center, and she came from somewhere else. She goes to some other place, and then she told me, Didi, do you really believe that sanskars change? So I said, of course, mine changed. So she said, no, I don't believe it. So I said, but how can you say that? Baba is teaching us everything for the change of sanskars, and sanskars definitely change. So she said, no, my sanskars have not changed for the last 20 years. So I said, your sanskars have not changed because maybe you're not doing it right. Maybe you're not even practicing proper soul consciousness. Maybe you're just saying, I'm a soul in body consciousness. You're not shedding the awareness of the body or bodily relations and religions and sitting even for 1 minute a day. So how will the sanskars change? So Baba says that it is very important to very accurately check what you're doing. And then there are many things that Baba asks us to check, not just the chart of remembrance, but Baba says check your character during the whole day. Yes. Did you give sorrow to anybody? Did you say something inaccurate? Are your words okay? So sometimes you see we use language in the world. So I've seen this one Mata, she keeps using this word, this one is mad and that one is mad, and she will just say ye pagal hai, wo pagal hai. So I've seen this Mata use this word very much, pagal. So then I once told her, does Baba say you should say, you should use this word mad for anybody? So she said, that's a habit. So I said, change it. It's not a good habit. So sometimes, out of habit, or maybe under the influence of anger, or under the influence of fear, or some other thing, you are using words which are not appropriate according to the knowledge. So Baba says that you must check what are the words that you're using. In the last hour, what was the language you used? Was your language inappropriate? Did you give sorrow through your actions? Did you bring everybody closer to Baba through your actions, or did you invoke lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed in them? Because you see, whenever through your actions you are invoking lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed in somebody, that is taking them away from Baba and taking them towards Ravan. So Baba says that you must check your character during the whole day. You must check remembrance during the whole day. And then Baba says you must check how many of your actions were divine and virtuous. Was your seeing soul conscious? Was your speaking sweet and knowledgeful? Was your, listening appropriate? Yes. So you must check for body conscious activities or virtuous activities also. You must think about, what I did in the last hour. Was it deity like or was it devil like? Or was it ordinary? So that also has to be checked. And then Baba says, how many did you serve in the last 1 hour? So how many did you introduce to God? And you see, introduction of Baba doesn't happen only through words. You can introduce them to Baba through your godly actions also. So, you can, when you wake up at Amrit Vela, somebody just wakes up with you. That's also bringing them closer to Baba. So just think about how much you're bringing everybody closer to Baba and how much you're taking them away from Baba. So Baba says every 1 hour you have to keep checking for these things. Because if you don't check, you will never be aware. And you will be living in this bubble that I'm doing well, I'm a good BK, I'm Baba's sweetest child, but you're not. So that is something that Baba talks about. And then today Baba says something very interesting, and I found it very, very interesting that Baba says, do not praise anyone unnecessarily. Yes, do not praise anyone unnecessarily, because everybody has to make effort, and it requires effort to have a fortune. You see, praise is also a very big instrument of deception. And have you seen that in the world there is a lot of false praise, and people cannot distinguish between false praise and true praise, and people fall into the trap of false praise. And you always have this idea that anybody who praises you is good and anybody who corrects you is bad. And then people use that instrument to, keep you not corrected and getting worse and worse and worse. So this false praise is also something that Baba warns us against. And I will tell you one thing. So when children come to Baba, so in the beginning, there is always, this love that they get and respect that they get from Baba's home. So in Baba's home, there is always an environment where you respect every soul and love every soul. And that is something they like, because, in the world there is constant criticism and there is constant conflict. And when they come from that environment, you like this environment of love and respect. But after some time, you see, when Baba gives directions for self-improvement, and how will Baba give directions? Through the Murli. And who will read the Murli? The Nimit. So the Nimit teacher will explain the Murli to you and give you directions. Now, when those directions are given, sometimes, children are so trapped in this thing that, Baba should always say, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, and not point out at any defects. That they are not able to stand when some defects are pointed out and when some corrections are given for self-progress. And, this is also a very big roadblock in your progress. And so Baba tells us that don't make anybody used to false praise, Because you see, this false praise is very deceptive. So when you tell somebody you are a very good child of Baba, then you must check whether they are following Baba's disciplines. Because if they are not following Baba's disciplines, how are they good child of Baba? They are just a child of Baba. So when you say, Baba loves you a lot, you must check whether he's a sevadhari, whether he's a yogi. If somebody is not remembering Baba, doing seva, then how do they receive Baba's love? They cannot. So Baba says that it's also very important to make everybody pay attention to what they need to do, because just telling them you're doing well when they are not doing well is not going to help. And I will tell you, in my experience, there have been times when, even Baba's children are attracted towards those who give false praise, and those who don't correct you, those who don't guide you better, or those who don't give you any indications for self improvement. They just keep telling me, oh, you are the greatest, you're the best. And then you also start loving them more, and you also start falling into that trap of false praise. But you must understand that anybody who is giving you false praise is deceiving you. They are not your well wishers. And Baba says that when Baba corrects you, when Sakar Baba was there, Baba would give corrections through Sakar Baba. Now Baba gives corrections through the Nimit teacher. So whenever corrections are given, you must understand that this is Baba's direction. Baba says, never think the teacher is speaking, never think Brahma Baba is speaking. Although, some things will be told by the teacher, because maybe, the teacher is observing you and saying it. But always consider that this is being told by Shiv Baba. Because only when you think that, Shiv Baba is telling me, you will accept it with that humility and correct yourself. And you see, in body consciousness, we are very, we are against this idea that somebody should correct me. So when we are body conscious, we resist correction. We don't like it. And whenever a bodily being corrects us, we put our guard up and we don't want to get corrected, and we take it on our ego and we take it personally. This is how we've been operating in the old world. But when we come to Baba, you see, we develop this attitude that this is God, this is not a human. And we take corrections from Baba very properly, and Baba is able to make that correction reach our heart. But sometimes along the way, when we start, distinguishing that this is something the teacher is saying, not Baba, no. The teacher is an instrument of Baba. When she is saying it, you have to consider that Baba is saying it. Only then will you be able to accept it with humility and check and change. And when you think, this bodily being is telling me, then you sometimes start having an ego attack and you start being defensive and you don't take that correction very well. So it is Baba's directions very clear in the Murli that you must think always that Baba is teaching you, Baba is correcting you. Even if it is Brahma Baba or the Nimit teacher, you must always consider that Baba is telling you this. And Baba says Baba doesn't tell anybody to give false praise, because false praise will not make you the king of the world. Correcting yourself and improving yourself, reforming yourself will make you the king of the world. So what will false praise do? If it moves you away from your kingdom and your inheritance, then false praise is not a good idea. So this is something that Baba tells us. Okay, Om Shanti.